Okay, I think it's taking. It's 1 second. It's not come.
Ask, no?
Huh.
Viewers, we are checking. We're live.
Okay, we are live now. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
yes. So namaste, Julius Tanzinle. Namaste to
Today,
all the audience and participants who have come to Nityanootan Varta today. I am Siddharth Maskeri and हमारे दोस्त यहाँ पे हैं Stanzin Le, who is an internationally acclaimed conscious filmmaker from Ladakh, who has been making wonderful films on the rich culture of the Ladakhi people. तो आज हम इनके साथ कॉन्वर्सेशन करेंगे और इनसे सीखेंगे इनके यात्रा के बारे में, about his journey and about his dreams.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Siddharth and team. I'm really very happy to share my little experience, what I gone through, and I'm still learning. So learning is always there. So as you mentioned me, like international filmmaker, blah blah blah, whatever. So there is so many, international good filmmaker all over the world, even in our countries, in India, in Ladakh. So I'm sometimes trying to sharing something different experience, So the roots, which is the roots is very important, And as we all know that there is a very like stream like very extreme movies like made by the Hollywood, Bollywood, and then why not from Ladakh original some movies can go from Ladakh, So that's what since more than many years I'm trying. So now people start lacking not only in our countries, in many other different countries also. So that's why I'm quite very happy to share my journey start.
Wow, we are honored to have you. And I would like to know more about your village and where do you come from? Uh, what is your village like? What is it called?
Yeah. So generally, like when you heard about Ladakh, everybody say, "Wow, it's fantastic, gigantic mountains," and like everybody appreciates in that way, Yes, we are living in a wonderful place, but not only the beautiful mountains. When you understand Ladakh, behind the mountain, the people who live there. So this is like very important, how we live, like as a Ladakhi here. So as you know, so many people given a different names to Ladakh. Some people say you are living in a like very beautiful mountains and clean airs and like this, but some people say you are living in the broken moons, So that somewhere I'm lacking also very much, Today in this world, so many people wanted to go on the moon and they wanted to make a garden on the moon, People in Ladakh since many centuries, that time like we don't have like a good communications and good transportations and good tools, but still like people on the moon, they make a beautiful gardens, That culture is very important, where this culture coming from, So this is how, yes, we have a very thin air here. When you are here in my village, which is from Leh city, it is 75 kilometer, it is 14,000 feet, and
Wow.
we growing all the vegetables, we living so peacefully there. Some people to coming there to live, to take the breath is also itself a difficult, That knowledge is very important, even like that how my childhood myself, what I learned from my ancestor and indigenous knowledges from my parents. The thing is that today people like my friend like you, everybody say, oh, you are a filmmaker. I'm still considered I'm not a filmmaker. I'm learning. I was a simple shepherd boy in my villages, So I never been in the school like till my age is around 13 years old. I started my schooling very late. So today I felt that. So when I was I think like we don't have a you don't say that I'm not a school. We don't have a school. We have a beautiful school in village of Gya. For example, like whole the valley is like a schools, Then I have like my sheep, goat, yaks are my classmates, And then wolf, eagles, and then marmots, and all these are my friends, So that how we learn from the nature, from deepness, the living with the natures. So this is what I'm trying to do these days. Some movies, is really coming something from them, something. I'm really thankful that my parents, that they give me this sort of educations, but in a formal education, learning by doing. But we had to school, but that is how we living in my village. Sometimes I call my village in Gya is a living village. So when you go inside the village, we have still around like more than 6,000 Pashmina sheep and goats, We have a 500 yaks, We have a 300 horses, In our village, we have like, so all you will feel is a living. We're living in a village. I mean, like in a human world, not everything is like, So that is very important, That's what I felt, yeah.
I would love to know some of the life skills that you have learned in this wonderful school of nature.
Exactly, like when I was very young, I didn't feel that I'm something learning from my village, that I have something learning from my peoples, that I'm learning. But now I really realize is how much those are so important in one lives, For example, we these days we always looking for the best schools, You say like, we have the best schools in Leh, we have the best schools in Delhi and blah blah whatever,
Yeah.
So like not only with the schools, what I learned from that, what I wanted to say, like when I'm coming from my village to Leh, I say, wow, Leh is wonderful, It's like a beautiful house, people have a car. And even in Leh, people are thinking that they are thinking, oh, if you go to Delhi, Delhi is the most beautiful building, beautiful school, beautiful everything. And Delhi people are searching for, no, Delhi is nothing. We have to move to the Mumbai, Everybody rush to the Mumbai, best school, best there. And Bombay, people are not satisfied, And they say, we have to move for the London, And everybody go to London, From London, they're thinking to go Tokyo. Tokyo to thinking they go to Paris, Paris, they are thinking to New York, That I've gone through all these, When we are in the New York, we think that our village is the best, We come back.
Yeah.
Sometimes this is too late, So this is some of my experience, your experience. We wanted to share to the people. Love your place before it's too late, So this is so many things to learn from the nature, learn from the on hand standings, When I wake up with my parents in the morning around 6 in the morning, 6 from morning till evening in the late night. It's a full institutions, in the village, You can, in the morning when you wake up, you can hearing so many birds and animals sound, After that, not only the sounds, you are handling with that, you are practicing with that. And sometimes we teach to the people, you should be a compassionate person, You should be a very, so one's how should be a compassionate when they don't have a practicals, Talking is important, By doing is a different. That what we must do, like and teach to our children, Before losing all this important culture in the village, we must go to the important institutions and we learn from them, We don't ignore our encyclopedia, our father and our mother who don't have a good looking uh, fancy cloth, but they are the PhD in their field, For example, today why I'm wearing this dress, I wanted to share with you these days, So especially this dress is made by the yak wool. And then,
Oh,
yeah, and this is made by my mother and all
wow.
my mother, and it is made by my family. When I'm wearing this dress, I don't care whether I look handsome or beautiful, whatever, but my parents, I saw this is they're making by their hands, It's always caring my parents' love, It give me a lot of encourage. This is in the end how we love, how we something we are so precious, I can't put in the words, yeah.
Wonderful. This is so heart touching. And it's so amazing that your parents have handmade this jacket. What do you call it in Ladakhi?
This is like Ladakhi, we call Goncha. Also,
Concha.
yeah. Some people say ghost, but we say Goncha also. Yeah, so it is very like so many significance on it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Uh, what I was just curious, what are the kind of games that you might have played? Because did you play football or did you have a mobile? Like in this, I don't think technology was ever there in the village. So, what kind of games did you play as a child?
Yeah, so we have like before all this internet comes to in our village,
Yes.
we used to play like seek and hide. We call the ipse lolo, which mean like
Wow.
the two groups of like children, one group to hide and another group has to like find them. It's another interesting. And then we have the traditionally we call it dubu, but in English I don't know what to say with the 5 stones, and then we play with that when we go to in the mountain to take care of our animals. And then we used to play or like work togetherly. Always we are not only playing, So whole system in Ladakh, when you have a harvesting, it is a play, it is a festival, all the parents,
Wow.
all the children, and everybody come to the go to the barley field. Then they cutting the barley by singing, by drinking local chants, So like we didn't feel this is a work, and this is for us a play, for us a festival. And then when we have a plugging, when we have a what called we have a willowing, all these system which is made in Ladakh, it is sort of a play and festival and then work, So all the involved, all the children, everybody is involved in it, That is the some sort of work and play and games, also a festival. And then like yes, we used to play sometime cricket also. And then especially Ladakh is in most time it is a frozen. You can find like 5 months it's a frozen, especially
Hmm.
place like in Gya.
Yeah.
Then we can lots of ice, so we can do the skatings from like
Oh,
yeah, it's like, but that run now in what call it is in ice skating, ice hockey, because this
ice
is not a
hockey.
big
Yes.
uh, games which is for our nation, but the Canada is very like far from here, but they still all over the world is coming here to play those things. And then we have a horse, like competition, horse racing competition, and then archery. These are the sort of game at the festival. But then children have their own, like yeah, few games are like that they played, yeah.
We would love to hear the harvesting song which you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Uh, do you remember what you sang when you were a child? When you used to harvest the
Yeah,
barley?
one is when we playing, we used to say, Yali kyong la mole hemle, Yali kyong la mole hemle. These are something. And then when we have a willowing, after the thrashing, we have then we have a sort of a specific song also, but in the harvesting we have also many songs, but little I forgetting. And in this song say, sang la sang, dung the lungs po go ne yong, sang la lung, sang la sang. And then also with the so all these are like how to be inviting the wind from the north, wind from the south, wind from the, and with it respectfully, because this is also what when we plugging, and then also with the plugging in my region when we plugging with the horse, and then I don't know, you might have heard about the zoo and then yaks, and it has a different songs and different, yeah, many things there, yeah.
Wow. And I'm sure that you must have had storytelling as one of the cultural practices.
Oh, yes. Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah. So this is the one thing is we don't used to have till recently we don't have a televisions, I don't know, today I'm becoming a filmmaker. Sometimes I'm thinking how I becoming a filmmaker. I never seen the television till I'm 14 years old, and then our grandparents and our parents used to tell us so many stories, and especially all these stories are telling especially in the winter, yeah, especially in the winter. So that's how like there is so many stories, yeah, which inspire us to write, yeah. Mhm. The
one,
stories, yeah. Mhm.
one. Do you remember any one story that your grandparents have told you?
Yeah, one I remember my mother and my grandmother were sharing of the three sister, So like
Okay.
the one sister saying like that, so one traveler is coming from the other parts of the regions or other parts of the countries. When they say invite, so then they say no, we don't have rooms, Then the second sister who invited another, the same guy went to inside, and they say, oh, we don't have a, then third they invite, and when they in the night when they spend their time with that family, and then the traveler say, please could you give me something which I wanted to give you some gift, so they think why though? So there is we call the bow, which is we measure the barleys and all these things, and then other says, oh, so go to your elder sister, borrow from them. So then say, why you are very poor, you are not every time asking these things, and then say, please somehow borrow that one. And then when the traveler give him some jewelries or like something, and then when they return this empty box to the others, and they say, where you get all these jewelry, but these are, I can't express you all in the English, so
Absolutely.
in Ladakhi, those of stories, how to we welcome to travelers, and then how each other stories, for example,
Yes.
about the mountains, about the boss, the mist, and many stories are there, yeah.
Wonderful. We would love to listen to these stories sometime.
Sure.
Yes, and we'll probably have another session just to listen to these stories in Ladakhi.
There is
Yes.
many other like experts, on this, because I'm not the right person to to yeah share this story, but I know some because of my parents surely, but then we I can give you some other experts, who's very good in telling the stories,
So, so, uh, so did these cultural habits and practices uh, inspire you to be the filmmaker? Storytelling, music, and nature. What was it that inspired you to be a filmmaker?
uh, exactly, yes, as I was sharing with you earlier that till I was 14 years old, I never seen the television. But then like I don't know, you might because when I was going in the school, I have a like the teachers, who inspire me. For example, like I still remember we have a primary schools in our village. One, the Budi language teachers, he's a monk, Lobsang Samtan from Sakti, So he's something very special. He keeps saying, Stanzin, 15 days you going to take care of your animals in the mountain, and you must come to 15 days to read and write in the schools. There's something, okay, that to go to school is also important somehow, because my these half days. Then I pass out from middle school, came to higher secondary school in Leh. So after that, I met incredible teachers, Mr. Soso and Bedins and all these. And then you might heard about this SEGMOL, Student Education Culture Movement.
Segment, yes.
SEGMOL, so where so many interesting people are coming from all over the world, So there you can find learning by doing, and then sometime there we have practical, doing some small video program and some TV program, and some volunteers told me, Stanzin, you have a third eyes in filmmakings, and then even my English is so bad that time, I say, I have two eyes, where is my third eyes, I'm searching for that third eyes, Then I met my gurus, Rahul Ranadev from Mumbai, and then I met Leslie Storms, and then, yes, of course, Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, the founders, and then Rebecca Norman, and there is many other my seniors and friends, Somehow there, like we can see some sort of movies, And the men inspired to make this movie during this time, the SEGMO and with the education departments and with the Ladakhi people, they wanted to reform the education system in Ladakh, And everybody's, when this education reform is there, so we have to go to the different villages. When we go in these all villages, so one times you can invited all the expert to talk, and then to go these places is not easy, it is very scary, and we have to travel for 1 day, 2 days, sometimes you go by walk. And then somehow our team says, why we not make a small videos, and that time people just heard about Hindi cinemas, only Hindi cinemas and some serials and like that. But then that time we say, we are very basic equipment, only like handy, like cameras and like this. We say, oh, we have a cinema in our own language, Ladakhi language, So when we are gathering in the village, when we say education talk, so only few people come in the beginning in everybody comes. Second time we go, not so much people come. And then say, okay, we have a films, but that time no film, but it's just a recording. It is in Ladakhi language. And that times from 70 years old people, person, till like 3 years old, everybody rushed to come to see, oh, it's in like this. Then I really thought, this is very important, to this tool, the filmmaking tool is not only for only the glamours, only for the entertainment, only for singing and dancing. How we reform, education reform, revolutionaries, through the cinema, through the documentary films, through the other films, that's becoming my breath later, So this is how I say I must go in this field, So this is how I learned filmmakings, and so yeah.
So this is such a wonderful transformation that you have shared.
Thank
you. I can relate it to the story of Moses, who was also a shepherd, and he led the way for his people.
Thank you.
So, and I see that you are doing the same for your people.
Thank you.
So, what is the way that you have explored the way forward for the people of Ladakh that you are sharing through your films?
Through our films, the first, when the education, everybody say education is more important. What make education different, But then sometimes we have so many dreams, but sometimes we have sort of misunderstood also, Till now, we always thinking about the 3R, reading, writing, and arithmetics, And then what I learned from these SACMOs and other places, it's not only that,
Yeah.
It is always a 3H, bright head, skillful hand, and kindness hearts, The
Wow.
then bright heads, what we are when we go to the school, that I felt myself also, because one times what I'm doing, when I was still 13 years, 15 years old in my place in Ladakh in the village, I'm using all my body because I have a physical work I have to. But then last more than 3, 4, like more than 13 years, I'm like associate with my dear co-director with Christian Modelates, who helped me to becoming a filmmaker, and also we together we make the movies. And
Okay.
last 13, 14 years, I'm living in France, and then other countries also. And that time, sometime 3, 4 months, we
Hmm.
as humans, we have a 10 fingers, And then while we working only, we only using 2 fingers, One day, because with the 2 fingers, we smartphone and 2 finger with the what called with the
Keyboard.
computer,
Yeah.
Then one day I felt, so if we not using other finger, why we have a 10 finger? After 1,000 years, the human will born with only 2 finger because other we are not using,
Yes.
So then what we thought that important is the 3H, because reading, writing is important. I don't ignore that. It's very important. When you have a only bright heads, reading, writing, and then you becoming a big head, then your hands and your neck are not able to work, So we don't need only the big heads, We need
Yes.
equally important that we have a strong hands and equally strong, And then okay, with the bright head and with the skillful hand, you can be a very good engineer, very good doctor, very good scientist, And you can make a bomb, you can make a mini war weapon and whatever, till you don't have a kindness heart, The kindness heart, what we call is a wisdom. The kindness heart is not only the education, it's the own informations, This including what I found, this indigenous in the knowledge. When we travel, I always tell to the people, because I like when we traveling all these countries, I always, when I go to the school, when I saw to please parents, before you, because I always say, oh, now my girls, my boys birthday next, after 10 days, what I should give my gift, They always try to give to the boy as a beautiful motorbike or car or computers, I always request them, please, before you give them expensive car or motorbike, take them in a village, take them in a, maybe we are in Ladakh, then we go to them the south, north, some country, in other countries, This is the biggest gift for their children, We have to travel and we have to learn from each other, This is my motive in the movie. So what I'm trying to show, in this sort of movie, sort of something we feel it, but sometimes visually to express another difficulties. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do in my in the movie. Yeah.
Wonderful. So you actually kind of defined your philosophy in your last few minutes, that education is actually a kind of a synergy between the bright head, the skillful hands, and the compassionate heart.
Yeah.
And that is
And,
education.
mhm.
Yes, beautiful. And I would love to know, see, as a revolutionary storyteller and filmmaker, what are the challenges that you have been facing? Because being revolutionary has amazing challenges ahead of them, and I
Yeah.
would like to know some of yours and learn from that.
In the beginning, and the challenges what we facing in, especially as a filmmakers, and that is the equipment. But then later, like
Okay.
when I was in these organizations in segments, and when I see as a filmmaker, as a journalist, when they go on the motorbike with the camera and they just go in a different, I say, wow, what a beautiful life, But then somehow I had the same, like I got motorbike, I got camera, I got pen. Then I felt, this pen and this motorbike and this what call this camera has a lots of responsibilities to do it. It's not only the physicals that what we are
Yes.
seeing, but the same when we take it a serious responsibilities. But then shooting in Ladakh always like we have a compare our movie with the Bollywood movie, Hollywood movie, and then like we are not so tasked ourselves,
Mm.
So I always wanted to share this story to the peoples, because these are like important, it's good, but not as important what you wanted to telling to the peoples, So this is very
Yeah.
important, the stories, But then every field has a challenges, I always telling to the people, if you have a two path, one is very difficult, one is very easy, please always try to try to go to the difficult path, the easiest is becoming easiest, so then what when I wanted to when I make movies, these shepherdess of the glaciers, or like a broken bell in Jungwa, behind the mirror, and then lighting up Himalayas, living with change, many movies I made during shepherdess of the glaciers. I again I becoming a shepherd again for 3 years, So then is lots of challenges with these equipments. When
Okay.
you are working in this 6,000 meter high, with the batteries,
Wow.
so you like, it's a menace around, I don't know, like sometimes it goes to minus 32 to minus 37, 8, in this altitude.
Wow.
To go out is very difficult, But then you have to have yourself a challenge, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it. I believe in my project. I believe in my eyes, And then without using all this big equipment, you can make a very good movie, But the challenge is difficult is not only in the filmmaking. Every field has a challenge and difficulties, But so sort of these challenges always in our life. So make these challenges in like fun and in learning, So you need this
Mm.
like like determinations, very strong determination in your hearts, so that can bring, because for me I got many challenges in the beginning. So because in Ladakh all the filmmaker are from Delhi, Bombay, or Bangalore, or like whatever
Mm.
the outside of Ladakh, and
Mm.
then like only filmmakers are from the European way of telling, and then
Mm.
to becoming a Ladakhi filmmaker, that they say, how you sustain with the filmmaking, So
Yeah.
everybody don't believe we try to do something new, So we over, like we have to challenge this, There is like lots of challenges are there to make the movie. Today I'm happy to share with you, because I have many work, I am like last 3 years I'm making movies in Mongolia with my co-director Kishan Modelet, and it I say I wanted to take more challenges than Ladakh, Everybody say Ladakh is challenge and difficulties. When we are shooting Mongolian movie in Gobi Desert in Siberia, it
Mm.
was like sometimes it reached to minus 52, So then like it's
Okay.
much colder. So then like now we have another project in Greenland, So this is how, so you have to be tolerate, you have to be believe in yourself, So otherwise there is a countless challenges, there is a countless, but I always give these small examples.
Yeah.
For example, sometimes this small green, coming from the soil, So
Yeah.
till his root is not so strong, in 1 year he has a storm, he has rain, and he has a snow. He or she has to be stand up, So after his root is very strong, whatever challenges come to you, you can avoid it. This is what always you have to be very strong yourself.
Right. So, and I believe that the weather conditions that you have embraced to tell your stories are very harsh, like you're describing it. So, do you go with a crew, or how many people are you in a team?
It depends, because this is the story. So sometimes, like, the story is your own home. You looking to do the story. You say, oh no, I don't want to do this story. This is what that is very important. There is a very interesting story in your home, and then but we don't believe. We always say the other part of the green is more greener than yours.
Yes.
But this is what, when I make a Shepherdess of the Glaciers, I wanted to share you these stories. Like
Okay.
in 2015, our movie Jungwa, The Broken Balance, which is nominated for this COP21. When this movie was selected in COP21, there were like around more than, I don't know, 100, almost 170 president and prime ministers, and then like 40,000 guests for all over the world. And when we said our movie from Ladakh, the Jungwa, is selected to screening this movie in Paris, it was a huge success. And then,
Wonderful.
yeah, what that made, after all my producers, all my co-director, everybody was so happy. That time they told me to, because that time I'm living with my co-director in Lyon, because we have to what call this uh, go to from Paris to Lyon. So there was like, always we go by TGV. There is one TGV which is like not the luxury one is luxury. And that time my producers and my co-director all this say, Tanzin, this time you must go in the luxury trains. I say, this is all luxury for me. No, like, it's a luxury, but they say you must go in the luxury tent. So when I go inside the luxury tent, so within in few seconds, few minutes, inside the luxury tent, there is a three beautiful girls inside. When I was traveling, I was uncomfortable at all, because when I they have like one of the most expensive perfume on them. When I look at them, they have a jewelry, their dress ups all together is more than like in lakhs of rupees on that. And then one asked me, oh, you are like, what is your name? You're coming from where? So I say, I'm from Indian. So they told me, you not look like Indian. But then I say, India is bigger than Europe. India has south, west, east, and this is multicultures. And then recently I say that I'm from Ladakh also. And then was, oh, you're from Ladakh. And then after 1 hour traveling, so we got like, oh, my sister sitting, who don't know we are having a red wine and all this luxury in here. My sitting is living with these animals in these mountains. How to these two big difference. And then
Yes.
like I say, like, we wanted to make a story. And then they are told me, so we have all the luxury. Like we have like a luxury bathroom, we have a luxury car, we have like travel all over the world, but we are not satisfied ourselves. We are searching for something. Your sister has not been all these things, but she is happy, and she's, in the end, we wanted to be happy. So then we thought we must bring this story to the world. They also told me to, you must bring this story to the world. And there was like so many things to tell you, because you don't have much time. So
Yeah.
otherwise,
Yeah.
series of like, so after Shepherdess, there are few channel make how to make this movie, and then what the story, so whatever, but this is how the story began. Yeah, the mini movies, my movies. Yeah.
So, in short, Stanzinle, you have touched my heart and the heart of the listeners here today. And I would like to ask you, Now, you're also a father, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yes.
have how many children? How many children do you have?
I have two children, so two sons. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Uh, so, as a father who has been a shepherd and now a filmmaker, traveled the world, what is the kind of atmosphere you feel your children should grow up in? What is the kind of environment they should grow up
It's a
in?
difficult one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should say we should give them freedom. Freedom in the sense, uh, we just give them a opportunity as a parents, because in the opportunity we must guide them, which is wrong and which is right, and then like always I am not believe in these competitions, you must
Mhm.
bring like 90%, otherwise you will out of this system, I believe in what today. I don't know, I'm a shepherd boys if I'm becoming a little filmmakers, and they are going in a good school today, but sometimes they are learning a lot, but practically how much they are drinking, they are observing, how much I mean like schools are good, the teachers are good, but our education system itself something very fishy, so this is
Right.
we must have to question mark in our education system,
Yeah.
but the people are ready to change, but that why like sometimes I always seen like my even my two children, somehow this time the this pandemic disease COVID-19, yeah, it is really very bad living memory for all over the world,
Yeah.
but somehow, yeah, there is lots of negative impact, but somehow there is some positive impact place like Ladakh also, but we have lost the tourism, tourist industries, we lost developments and like this, but then redefine in our mind, what our parents has something very magic, even we don't have a job, you can be a good person, you can be a good, that what we feel this year, that what I trying to explain my two children also, what it happened, since more than 2 decades, people are migrating to in the cities, they're saying we don't want to live in the village, we wanted to go in the city to find a fancy jobs, the fancy job is what, fancy job is not only the sunglasses and motorbike and the jeans and like this, after age you need to be satisfied yourself what you're doing, and that what I'm trying to like trying to tell to my children, and many Ladakhi youth and the employed and who are in Leh and went back to the village, the village is lovely these days, last more than I think like 1 2 decades who not cultivate their field, barley field and many other things, they wanted to like cultivate again, and then like 2 3 years before, everybody wanted to buy expensive car, very like brand, now people say no, we wanted to go back to in the village and to be ride the horses, and then many are now riding a bicycles, and this is a big change, and this time I tell to like my sons and them also, we go to the village, they have their own garden now, in this own garden they are growing their vegetables,
Beautiful.
and then like yes, we our teachers their teachers us like teaching them how this leaf work, and like now they're practically doing this, but that's why I always wanted to request to the government of India, during this harvesting, during this plugging, during this threshing, please have a vacations, for the children.
Yes.
Then they can go back to the village and they can practically learn it, And then what I mean in the education system, what we have a problem, that one is especially in Ladakh, still. So we have to study about the rand and elephants and all these things, We don't have elephant in Ladakh, and we don't have a much rain in here, we have a snow, we have a glaciers, And then in the textbooks, in these all, we only studying about outside, and in the end, we blame our youth. Oh,
Yes.
you are not good citizens because you don't want to come back to Ladakh. Because how he come back to Ladakh? Our foundation is we're not giving. We
Yes.
only say study about the Londons and then Bombays and other countries. So if we learn from the small, this the yaks are important, then the snows are important, and the cultivation important, one should have wow. So this what I felt, we have to change the education system in some textbooks and like this. That that is what yeah, really I felt is important during this lockdown. I'm happy that my
Huh.
children, they learn a lot. Even I don't
Wonderful.
care if they don't much good in, they miss 6 months in their study. They are like very young. And then especially from age 5 to till 14 years, they are very observatory. So that time they need a practical laboratory. The laboratory is not only in the school buildings. Laboratories is in the field. So this is what I believe is that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I believe the lockdown has been an opportunity for all of us to explore our own talents
Mm.
more deeply.
Yeah.
Yes. And what I would like to ask you, what is the India of your dreams? How do you see India in your dreams?
Ah, ah, it is really a big uh, and difficult questions for me, but still, that what our Mahatma Gandhiji says, the India is not the city like Delhi and Bombay and Bangalore and like in the big cities. India is in the villages. So that's why we must like encourage these small skill industries. And then like we must believe that the roots, the roots, it is when you have your own roots. So that means like you have to be very, it's very important. So but India is such a big country in multi talent countries. India has all the resources. How we pull up in a belief that we should proud of our countries. But that is in the work culture. Mostly we always sometimes we have this blame. The children blame their parents, parents their blames to system they blame to the governments. This is always blame game. That's why we individually not change. India work culture must has to change really, because when you look about this some policy of government like NGOs and individual incredible policies and schemes and all these. But then how much we always feel about the rights. We are doing our duties. Yeah, so this is individually has to change to be realized sometime after coming back from their work, respective work. We have to be introspect for 5 minutes. What I done today for my self, for my family, for my society, for my community, for my nations. Otherwise we're becoming a too greedy. There's a no limited for that greedy. To have that desire and greedy, we make a mistakes. That how the corruptions and then all these what you see what goings
Yeah.
on. So that's why we must change ourselves. So then sometimes we even I'll say we must do that. But sometimes too much talk is also not good. Sometimes we have to be practicals. The
Yes.
idea is there. So we have to be practically. So this is what I wanted to be a dream in India, that we now have to be a self introspections, and then we are also we do our duties. So this is really, we have to change our work culture. Otherwise it's say okay, office timings are like always say 10. So oh, we don't care that, 10:30 is fine. Next day, like, no, 12. I've been working in European countries, if you late for 3 minutes, okay, for 3 days. After 3 days, you are finished. So this sort of a system we must create, and then we say we are like living in, like we do the all this spiritually like rich. But we are really in spiritually inside. Outside is not so important, that we have to be inside, that we have to be, so that what is individual our responsibility to the duty.
Wonderful. And this is your thought is so inspiring that it is aligned with even Gandhiji's thought of India of my dreams. And it is actually showing a way that uh, the youth of today can aspire to be storytellers and filmmakers like you. Okay, and see how we can change and revolutionize education through this medium.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the education system is only giving a monoculture, right? And we as storytellers are the educationists who are going to enrich the culture of the youth through our medium. Yes, maybe not textbooks, but maybe through films.
Yeah,
And
this is, it's that, it's like that. Why sometimes even I can give you some example from my regions, from Ladakh. We always sometimes blame to the youth. It's easy for parents to blame their youth, their children. It's
absolutely.
easy for their leader to, oh, youths are doing their youth. What we done for the youths? This is the first questions. Today everybody say, oh, youth are having drugs, youths are drinking. But for example, sometimes in Ladakh in the winter is very difficult. When you have because all the infrastructure in Ladakh you can see. When you are here in Ladakh, in after let's say November, the temperatures fall down around minus, like till January, it is goes to minus 23 to minus 30. In this minus 30, you have a concrete buildings. And then like youths are like, what you will do only the inside, it's cold, and but we have other activities. But even till now, we have a don't have a good auditorium halls, in Ladakh, which is warm, which is all the youth can come, and they can make a archery, they can make a dance, they can see the movies, they can do whatever. So then like we don't have this, and then you see the few youth will call, okay, so let's drink today and tomorrow, because they don't have other some sort of activities. Then we are blaming, you are doing this that. Why we not constructing such a auditorium hall, all the youth gather, like in other countries, like in your place like in in Chandigarh and Delhi, because we at least need this sort of place also, or in the community. So then we gathering, and then we sharing, learning, and we are engaged in this. This sort of is more important than only blaming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is what we must our important person might think about that also. That
So wonderful. You have actually shown us the way through this entire conversation. Yes, and I believe that we are looking at many conscious filmmakers in the future, because I see there's a revolution going on. Lots of families are unschooling. They're taking their children out of schools, from conventional schools, and are being self-led learners. Yes, and not only with the textbooks, but mainly through the life skills. And definitely, what I think that we are going to see a wave of a community of conscious filmmakers in the days to come.
It's
Yes,
very
and we can look at creating that platform to unite these conscious filmmakers together across our country. And before we conclude the session, I would love to hear some Ladakhi, and you could share a message to the children, to the youth, and to the people of Ladakh, and even for us who are not from Ladakh, but we would love to listen to the sound of Ladakhi language and to the energy of that language.
Thank you, Siddharth. This is like how one kindness hearts give to know. Otherwise, sometimes we only speaking with the broken English. Yeah, Hindi, Urdu is important also to know many languages and also respect your own languages, And that's why like giving me this opportunity, I think like this is the first time like in my life, that somebody asked me to in the end having conversation in English, in Hindi, saying Ladakhi, this is very important for me also. Tene Ladakh se mimang sangma tenao yungin rakle yuches rakle shat ngatange Ladakh se shesdik culture bo man last gudas la tendel yotkane ma culture zangpoji intik dughalale te ote zani realize charak pen namjik nijamang pojik ngata kyammo zammo jukse yotte yinokle yinang iyo nangkuga thimse mijiga shatches nang yangata nangkuga thimse teveka choches peka ma khakchen intik duale tepia daringala English chapo nangkuang mangpo juches tundus tenna jospen ngata Ladakhpu yinbu chin kya khalale yang chok mamang puji Ladakhpu izuk yul kitpu izuk yul demo zra nokle yang chok chigni mi sangme zra nokle Ladakhpu kertenang mane izuk gutuk nyalwa chanjik dubder te o changma ngata nyamnyong yotto no khalale ngati pha mespone daksang chupena ma yul chanjik intik dupole diring ngata Ladakh se nangkwa ngata Koreans pa mangpoji yang ngata gyarni into pilok ne mangpoji sioda rang nyampu chibia Ladakh la sioda nok nyampu te chok values sunale kaun ngata gauji nangko ngata gamyulji nangko chana I tongpa ne na da mane kulik juga manokle keda mane zunta manokle keda mane te chok changma ngata thuwa kazua tan je shespo ngata shesdik nang culture intik dugle yongos dembe ngata luzla gonche se ngata namzaun gyala yongosle zaches thungche se gyu gyala yongosle tena choksla ngata yukse nangun gyala yongos teo changma mang se zigzig laklak tapek song se tingbone chi deme gyon na ngata pelang na nga mamang pu gyala chergyal yulla teo thongle mane hotel takpo le mane nang takpo swimming pool yotkan tena choksla mane yinnang nangku na skipo metkan digle tenna choksla ngatai dang dire yotkani yunu changma ngata thip manyan na thore ngata lo mangpeting ni ma tamngan phokcheseno tepia ni tenna ojuan le ngata shesdik culture na nangwa borte nyampo tene tussome zostap nachoksu nang khongse dulbo shespo ma khaksene du yang ichoks thongom dang je sepia ngatang jalin songpasang thangma thukje chele. Thank you that so I just spoke something what is in my heart. Yeah.
Could you please teach me how to say thank you in Ladakhi?
We say tukjeche.
Tukjeche.
Yeah. And then also one very easy is the jule, The jule is not exactly saying tukjeche, but it's a shortcut also because jule can be what, but in the end, changmala tukjeche also like, jule and tukjeche, yeah.
Okay, so I'll say Tukjeche Stanzin.
Thank you
for sharing your heart space with all of us and your journey, your struggle, your dreams, and your children's stories and your childhood stories. It actually took us back to your village, and I'm sure that I will be coming to Gya. Okay,
Sure.
and I'm sure that the other participants here with us are also going to come to Gya very soon. To
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and I would like to share with all our participants that this is what the Cultural Awakening series is all about, and that we embrace each other and each other's culture for its wonder and for its richness and its uniqueness. And India has that richness that it is gifting us, and it is our responsibility to preserve it.
Yeah.
This cultural richness.
Thank you.
And keep gifting it to the coming generations through whatever medium we can offer. Earlier it was storytelling and practices like that, and now it is going into the new media like filmmaking. So it is our responsibility as awakened citizens of our country to pass on this culture.
Yeah.
And yes, so thank you so much, Stanzin Le, for being here with us. And thank you so much. Are your children there with you?
So no,
Stanzin
they are
Le?
like starting. Yeah, no, they are like went to. I say like in the garden now. So I say like, oh, so there's
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we would love to have a conversation with your kids if they are there.
They're not
Yes.
here right now, so
Okay.
I can, call them,
Okay.
but outside. Yeah.
Okay. So no worries. We would definitely have one more conversation with them, especially, and learn more Ladakhi and about their learning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there is, yes, my children also there is. You can find. I can introduce you many other children and many inspire other person from Ladakh also, and they can tell incredible stories. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So see you soon, Stanzin Le.
Sure, Siddharth.
Looking forward to meeting you in Leh, Ladakh, or Gya. Yes.
It is, really very beautiful place in villages. We
audience ko thank you Mona.
Yeah, we Ladakhis are very happy to welcome that visitor here in Ladakh. So when you visit Leh, so please visit all these villages, beautiful villages, even in Leh, even then other also. So we are always very happy to welcome all the visitors to Ladakh and looking forward to see you all.
Yes, and to all the audience and participants with us on the Nityanootan session, thank you. धन्यवाद. आप यहाँ आपने यहाँ पे अपना समय और ध्यान देके बहुत मजा आया साथ में, और हम तो बहुत सीखे हैं स्तांजिन ले से, और हमें यकीन है कि आपको भी बहुत मजा आया होगा इस सेशन से, और हम सब सपने रखेंगे लद्दाख के गांव में जाके वहाँ का सुंदर नज़ारा, अनुभव, वहाँ का सीख लेके आए, और हम वहाँ पे हमारे जो ट्रेजर है, हमारे पास जो रिचनेस है, वो भी वहाँ पे देख के आए. तो ये कल्चरल शेयरिंग हम करेंगे आगे जाके लद्दाख के साथ. So thank you so much, all of you, and see you soon. And take care. Yes.
Thank you.